Hey everyone, welcome to cookingwithchampagne.com. I am just decorating for Easter. It's Monday, so we are just a week away from Easter, and I was putting out all my Easter decorations, and I was just about finished. And this is me and my husband Joe. Two little bunnies in an Easter basket. So I was putting out my Easter decorations, and just getting ready to get in the kitchen and cook. Today, we are making a recipe of lamb. I had a few hits on the website, people asking me about Easter and lamb. So I bought a rack of lamb, and today we're gonna make that along with some nice creamy polenta, and we'll have some veggies to go on the side. So today, it's all about Easter. If you're celebrating, happy Easter to you and your family, or Passover, happy holidays. Even if you're not celebrating any holiday, God bless you. Happiness always. So, welcome to cookingwithchampagne.com. Let's get in the kitchen and start cooking. So, let's get to cooking. This is mint. The smell of mint is so refreshing. And mint and lamb go so well together. And I used this mint to put together our rack of lamb. This is one of the herbs that I used. So I want to show you right here. This is our rack of lamb. And I bought this lamb. I love Costco. I bought this in Costco. It's about 1.5 pounds because it's only 2 people. So what I did here is I made a nice little paste. And I used the mint, I used rosemary, thyme, I used lemon zest, a squeeze of lemon, and some olive oil, a pinch of salt and pepper, and this is what is on my rack of lamb roast here. So I marinated this overnight. I did this yesterday, and on the website, cookingwithchampagne.com, you'll get all the exact measurements of the herbs that I used. And so I did this overnight last night. So what I'm going to do right now is, before we put it in the oven to roast, I want to sear this off. So this pan, I turned it on before very, very low. I'm going to put this up a little bit higher because I want this to get nice and hot. So we're going to season. The seasoned side of the lamb we're going to make a nice sear on. In this pot right here, we're going to make polenta, some nice lemon cheesy polenta, delicious. So in here, I have 3 cups of liquid, which is 1.5 cups of milk and 1.5 cups of fat-free, low-sodium chicken stock to 1 cup of polenta. So I need this to come up to a simmer. So let's put the cover back on and let that work. So this is nice and hot. So all I have to do right now is just put some olive oil in my pan because it's nice and hot now. I'm going to take my rack of lamb, skin side and fat side down, and that sear sound that you hear is exactly what you want. So we're going to put this on this baking sheet with the rack already inside. And after it gets a nice sear on one side, and then we'll flip it over to the other side, then we'll put it in a 350-degree oven. That's what I have it on now. It's preheated. And we're going to cook this for about 20 minutes. 130 is about rare to medium, so that's what we want our internal temperature to be. So we're going to let this sear on this side, and then we'll flip it over. So now, if you come in a little bit close, Lynn, you can see like the little bits of blood coming to the top. That's when you really know it's time to turn it, because it's forcing all of it to the top. So let's look. Oh, that is nice. So now we just flipped it over, and we're going to let the other side do the same, become nice and caramelized, and then we'll put it in the oven. So now this side is just as beautiful as the front side. So now we're going to take this off and put it on our roasting pan. Let's take this off, shut off. So our oven is already preheated, top shelf. And in 15 minutes, we'll check it. So now that we have our roast in the oven, I am just zesting a lemon. I need a tablespoon of lemon zest. Our milk and chicken stock mixture for our polenta is almost up to a simmer. So what I'm doing here is I zested a lemon, and I want a tablespoon of lemon zest. And I want that to steep inside my milk and chicken stock mixture. This is 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon zest because we're going to make a lemon polenta with some beautiful creamy fontina cheese. So as that's coming up to the simmer, I want my zest in there to perfume the milk and the chicken stock mixture. This will take about another minute and it'll be up to a simmer. Once it came up to a boil, I want to lower it because polenta, I'm going to season this now. Nice pinch of salt, nice pinch of pepper, and here's our polenta. Oh, another thing I like to put in it too is I like to drizzle this milk mixture with olive oil. And here is our whisk. I'm going to just stream this in, and as you stream it in, you just want to whisk so it incorporates and it doesn't lump up. And then later on, we're going to add our beautiful fontina cheese to this. Let's lower it now, because when this gets to popping, you can really get burnt. See that? It's beautiful. Now to this, we're going to add, usually they add mascarpone cheese to polenta and some grated cheese at the end. We are going to add to this, I have some Greek no-fat yogurt. I'm going to add about a tablespoon of that, and our fontina cheese. So now that our polenta has all come together, we're going to add the last few ingredients. Now with polenta, sometimes it needs more liquid, sometimes it doesn't. If you see it's not silky enough, add a little bit more chicken stock or water or a little more milk. Don't be afraid to add extra ingredients as you go. To this, I want to add a pat of butter. This is Greek style yogurt, fat free. Take the top off. This will give it a nice consistency. I'm using a tablespoon. And here is our beautifully grated fontina cheese. Fontina cheese is soft, it's very mild, it's creamy, but it also has a little bit of a bite to it, which I really like. Just put all of that in, and we're going to mix it around, and then we're going to taste to see if it needs a little bit more salt and pepper, because remember, we didn't put too much in, and we don't want to put too much in the beginning because we're adding cheese to it. So it's been 15 minutes that we have our meat in the oven, our rack of lamb, and I want to make sure the internal temperature, so I'm just interjecting my meat thermometer right in the middle here to see the temperature. And it's about 115. I want it to be between 120 and 125. So I'm going to give it another 5-10 minutes. So now that we are waiting for our meat to cook a few more minutes, our polenta is done. I want to show you what I have here. Here are beautifully Frenched string beans. I bought them in a package, and last night I blanched them. Big pot of boiling water, a nice handful of salt, and let it come to a boil. Throw in your string beans, let them cook to al dente, strain them off, let them dry a little. And then today we're going to dress them. So in this pan that's nice and hot, I'm going to drizzle this with olive oil. We don't want this on too high, medium to low. I'm going to put in garlic. To me, garlic is a preference. I always say that. I'm not a big garlic lover. So you chop up or you use as much crushed garlic as you like. and your family. I'm using just a little. And to that I'm adding a pat of butter, just a skinny little pat. And then we're going to put in, as soon as that melts a little, our string beans. And to that I have here about a cup of the shredded carrots. You could also use the curly carrots. You see them in little strips. I'm going to add that in at the end to give a nice color as well. So in this pan, let's throw in our beans. We'll add a little bit of salt and pepper to taste. Let that get nice and hot. And we'll just mix it around. And these will be beautifully dressed to put alongside our rack of lamb. So it's been about 6 minutes. Let's check it. 120. So I'm going to take it out here just because 120 is rare, 125 to 130 is medium. I'm not a lamb eater. This is for my husband Joe. So he likes it rare to medium. So the carryover cooking time is going to help it come up to a higher temperature. So all I have to do is test that and let it sit for about 10 minutes, and it'll come to about 125, 130, and that's the perfect temperature that he likes to eat it. So let's just put a piece of aluminum foil right over the top loosely and let that sit for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, we could hear our string beans, our garlic, a little bit of olive oil and butter, just heating these through because they're already cooked. Going to coat them well, put a little bit of salt and pepper on them as well. And let's throw in our carrots, just heat these up with it. And you have a perfect side dish. So now what I have here is a shallot. Shallot is from the onion family, very mild tasting. Usually they come in 2 halves. I'm using half of a whole bulb. And what we're going to make is a really nice mint sauce for our lamb. A lot of people like to have mint jelly with their lamb. I know my mother does. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to cut off the tip of that little bit of the shallot. And I'm going to put this pan, which is on low heat, I'm going to drizzle this with some olive oil, just a little bit, maybe a half a teaspoon. And I'm going to grate the shallot down into the hot olive oil because I don't want to have any kind of lumps in my mint sauce. I just want it to be really smooth, but I do want the taste of the shallot. Give it a little onion flavor instead of the straight mint jelly. So just grate this down into your warm olive oil and just let that sweat a little so it gives the permeation of the shallot into the olive oil. And then we're going to add a little bit of white wine and we're going to add our mint jelly. It's going to make for a nice sauce to drizzle over our lamb. Okay, so now that our shallot is down into our beautiful olive oil, we don't want color on this, so remember it has to be low. See how it's beautifully just sizzling right there? We just want it to sweat out the juice to give this a little bit different flavor than just straight mint jelly. So to this, I'm going to lower it now to really low. I'm adding 3 ounces of white wine. You can use regular white wine, Chardonnay, you can use Pinot. This is Pinot. You can use white Zinfandel, which is a little bit sweeter. And I want this to reduce a little, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit and just let this reduce down to about half, and then we're going to add in our mint jelly and it'll be nice and kind of liquefied so we could drizzle it on our chops. And let that melt. I added the rest of the jar of mint jelly. The whole jar I put in there. And you just let that cook down until it reduces, until it becomes thick and like a syrup. So it takes time for it to cook down. If you don't think it's thick enough for you, all you have to do is add maybe about a teaspoon of cornstarch. Cornstarch, teaspoon, teaspoon of cold water, mix it together, and then while this is boiling away, pour it in. It'll make it thicker for you, okay? But if you have the time to wait for it to reduce down till it's syrupy, that's the best thing. So now this has been sitting here for 15 minutes or more. My husband likes it rare. I don't eat lamb. So let's cut it, and I'll show you how beautiful it is. This is a rack of lamb. So you always have to let meat rest. This way the juices, I'm sure you heard it 50 million times, reincorporate into the meat and don't spill out and make it dry. Make sure your knife is nice and sharp, and all you do is go right down. I'm going to cut this one off at the edge. See how beautiful that is? This is medium to rare. That's just the way he likes it. So just cut between the bone and go down, and they'll become beautiful chops. It's important that your knife is very sharp. Now we have everything ready. Our lamb, our mint jelly, our polenta, and our beautiful French string beans. Just show you the decorations. Look how beautiful this plate is. Very Eastery. And the placemat, you know I love my 99-cent store. Home Goods, little decorations, all in the 99-cent store. Like I said, your imagination, use it. You can make everything look spectacular. So let's plate up our lamb dish. I'm going to use a little bowl right here to put my polenta in. My polenta is nice and creamy. Before I plate this though, let me taste it to make sure that everything is seasoned well. Now, like I said before, when you're making polenta, if it gives you a certain amount of measurement of liquid and you need to add more, do not be afraid to add more to make it creamy. While it was sitting here, I added another cup of milk because I felt it wasn't as creamy as I wanted it to. This is what cooking is all about, trial and error. They tell you one thing, when you get in the kitchen it might mean another. So don't be afraid to add a little bit more liquid to make it creamy and silky. That's the way we want it. You could really taste the lemon in this. The Greek yogurt gives it a little punch. I love the punch it gives. And you know what? It needs a little bit more salt. Here, let's put some salt in. It's very good though. Delicious. The lemon to offset the lamb, because we use the lemon and the lemon zest in the lamb. So let me just stir this around. Now, if you wanted to, you can add some fresh lemon zest on the top when you plate it. You could also add some chopped mint to this, which would make it look very nice. So let's put this in our little plate. And I like to use these little plates, or maybe a ramekin if you have one, because it helps on the dish to set it. And just let it fall. There you have a nice little bed. All you have to do is just lay these right on top of your polenta. I would put 2 down first, and then just put this one right on the top. Here's our beautiful French string beans, and we tied that in with some shredded carrots. Drizzle, if you like the mint jelly, around. And this is optional, like I said. Some people don't like mint. We could put that right on the top too. So this is a very nice Easter dish. Now, if you wanted to do a leg of lamb roast, you could do the same marinade that we made with the herbs and the lemon zest, the garlic. You could also cut slits into your roast and stick pieces of garlic down into that. Let it marinate overnight. You could sear it on the top and then roast it off in the oven. And whichever way you want to do it, this is a beautiful dish for you and your family to enjoy for this holiday season of Easter. And with this, you can use a light rosé wine, but my favorite is Pinot Grigio. And look how pretty this glass is to match the dish. And I got this in the 99-cent store too. So, whatever you're celebrating, Easter, Passover, or if you're not celebrating at all, here is a champagne toast to good eating. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to check me out on Friday. You know, Friday is dessert and cocktails. This coming Friday, I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful, light, and easy orange panna cotta. And we're going to top it off with a cocoa whipped cream, and we're going to make a cocktail out of iced coffee. So you don't want to miss that for your holiday weekend. So join me on Friday for that. But in the meantime, have a wonderful week, everyone. God bless you. Check out the website. There's so much to offer you. I hope to hear from you. Email me. Let me know how you like these dishes, or just the website in general, or just to say hi. So here's a champagne toast to good eating. I'll see you on Friday. God bless.